What's going on, man? It's your boy Wise. I'm back. Told y'all I was gonna consistently do this. So folks holding me to the fire on it, man. So look, man, we just go ahead and get straight into it, man. So Miami played FAMU this past weekend, and they did what they needed to do, in my opinion. 56-9 the score. Um, obviously light work just overall. I expected to beat them by a lot of points. I think Cam Ward might have played a little longer than I wanted him to play personally. That's just me, just because I didn't like the whole flip over the top or whatever, man. But let's get into it. We're not gonna make this super long. I don't think there's any reason to. It was straightforward as far as what happened, what most people expected to happen. There were different talking points from what we saw. I will say, just overall, I didn't expect the game to flow that way. I definitely expected to win comfortably, but as far as how the flow of the game went, wasn't expected. So, just right out the gate, I believe it was the first third down that we got them into. We forced Richardson to make a throw while he was on the run, and Wesley tips it and intercepts the ball. He tips it to himself, picks it off. Right. So out the gate on third down, we doing good. Turnover happens. And then immediately, Cam Ward ends up finding Elijah Arroyo for the touchdown, if I'm not mistaken. So, from there, boom, obviously we up 7. Then he hit X on the 50-yard TD. And the cool thing or the great thing about that is I believe the headset might have went out and he wasn't able to talk to Dawson. But Cam Ward saw they were in cover two. So he called a cover two beater. And that was really how the touchdown happened. So I was watching um the interviews, and Dawson was like, I can't take credit for that one. Like Cam saw it, he saw they was in cover two, he called the cover two beater, easy dime for the touchdown. So, I expect my quarterback to be able to make plays like that, right? Some people will say that's all world or whatever. No, but there are a lot of quarterbacks in college that don't recognize certain things like that. But, from the jump, I've said we're dealing with an elite level quarterback. Rather, if you think he's top 5 or top 10 in college, it ain't no debating, somewhere within that range. So, that's pretty much what it is. But overall, man, in the first half, we just gonna talk the game. Um, the flow of how it was going. Like we were effective running the ball, but we threw the ball a lot more than I would have liked. And I think what's really going on, man, I think they really just trying to they trying to find a rhythm, and they're trying to figure out, what we can do and how who can be depended on and who can do what, within the game. I think there's a certain level of inconsistency that's still taking place in practice, just overall with how the offense flows. And I think they're trying to figure it out like during the game. I definitely would like us to run more run plays. We had a discussion, I believe, yesterday, and we was talking about some different things, and somebody pointed something out. It was basically just like, man, my boy Twan was like, look, a lot of this stuff is RPO. So if you look at the splits, like the splits between the O linemen, like they're really tight. Last year, if y'all remember, like we would see gaping holes that the O line was kicking open, but we didn't have, at least early on, just in general. But the running back room last year was ass, if we being honest, because Miami was like top 3, I believe, in yards before contact. So like we were averaging 5 yards before the running backs were getting touched. But if you go look at our averages from last year, them motherfuckers only averaging like 5 and 6 yards a carry. So they're basically, and y'all saw all of the arm tackles and all of that weak shit. Like for the most part, the running backs as a whole were not creating more after the initial contact. This year so far, we haven't seen those gaping holes. Um, they just haven't been there. But I think it's because we're doing a lot of RPO. And when it's RPO, like you're not straight up run blocking, you're not firing off and, busting holes wide open and stuff because of obviously what it is, the RPO. So the splits with the O line will be a little different. There's less overall, there's a little less aggression, because of it could be a run or a pass. So you can't really attack it, I guess, in the same sense per se. But I would just like us to do more run plays, more actual run plays, like get away from I'm fine with RPO, but like call things that are boom, like no, this is a run play. This ain't no RPO. We're calling this run play to allow the O line to get into a little more of a rhythm and just fire off. Let them be a little more aggressive. But nah, I mean that just overall, man, people was complaining and they was bitching and shit because we gave up 9 points. It is what it is, man. I do think that, I covered this in the preview. I said that we needed to make sure we keep a lid on Jamari Gassett. And he had like 57 yards, but he was slick getting off a little bit at one point. And I'm just like, bro, we got folks running free, straight coverage bust. Folks ain't even like, it's just things that need to be cleaned up. But there was a lot of young guys playing, like from the jump, right? So obviously Rivers didn't play. There was a lot of young guys being mixed in on offense and defense early on. So there were miscommunications, there were busts and things like that. But I honestly don't really think it was a big deal. I mean, if we being honest, and as far as the offense, I know a lot of people been complaining, stuff like that, but outside of doing more run plays, if we don't do anything else, and I'm being honest, we run enough concepts for me to where I'd be fine with what's going on because there's certain plays that we run where there's so much to do within that one play. So um yeah, I don't have a problem with the play calling, man. I think the play calling is fine. I do think what people aren't accounting for is sometimes Dawson is looking to pass, and sometimes when it gets pass heavy, that's because it's we're running a lot of RPO. So even if he's looking to pass, and then Cam sees something and he ends up deciding to pass when maybe we could have ran, people think, oh man, we just calling it, but that's not what's going on. So it's different things to decipher, but I'll say that I expect us to really quote unquote kick it up and get into more of a groove starting next week. Just my personal opinion. Like after Ball State, I think we'll see some new stuff with Ball State, but once we get ready to get on board with USF, I think we'll see more and more implemented. Um, but like I said, man, yeah, people was complaining and stuff, but if I'm not mistaken, like these dudes had like 138 passing yards or something like that. They had like 52 rushing yards. So we forced turnovers. Obviously, what, 3 interceptions by linebackers. We had 5 sacks, I believe, 10 tackles for loss. So definitely a lot of things to improve on, but I don't really think it's much to harp on in regards to this game. Um, I do think that folks I saw this a lot, folks on Sam Brown head, especially on Twitter. Folks is killing Sam Brown. I'm gonna say this, man. And I did miss parts of the initial parts of the game because I had some things going on and I just decided to not go back and watch the entire piece that I missed. But from what I've seen, what I can remember, right? Sam Brown has 3 drops this year. Okay. He has he had 2 drops versus Florida that I remember, right? So one of them was the touchdown that he should have had the X through to him that he dropped. He put one hand out. Another one was like a tunnel screen that Cam threw to him and he dropped it. That was the UF game as well. And then this last week, um, he dropped the bomb that Cam threw to him, which was an underthrown pass, by the way. So the ball was underthrown. Sam Brown didn't come down with the ball. And I've seen a lot of people on his case. So in 2 games, technically for me, he has 3 drops. I will say for me, I don't think he's currently making the most of his opportunities because if he was, then he probably would have caught 2 out of 3 of those. But bro, it's early in the season, and I'm not really gonna get down on him because one, we're winning, and two, I don't really think it's that big of a deal right now. Now, once we get into USF and or Virginia Tech at that point, who a lot of these people are going to be throughout the season is who they are. So just, let's see a little more with him or whatever, man. I don't think it's that big of a deal, folks, on his head heavy, but he definitely need to make the most of the opportunities because that's what I feel like Horton has been doing. Like from my recollection, and y'all can let me know in the comments or whatever if I'm wrong, but I believe Horton has one, and I don't even know if it's counted as a drop, but I remember when we played UF and Cam threw him a ball, a touchdown, and he let Jakeem Jackson break the ball up. He should have came down with that ball, for my opinion, right? That's a ball you need to come down with. You got to make that play. But outside of that, all of the other ones that I can recall that he was thrown, like he's catching them and he's attempting to make plays. X is X. But if I'm not mistaken, I think X had one that was basically right inside the 5 or right around the 1, a ball that was thrown that he should have caught, in my opinion. I believe they might have flagged for PI. I don't remember, but even if they didn't, like, should have caught that ball. So everybody want to be on Sam Brown and shit like that or whatever. I get it, but I mean, X didn't bring in one he should have brung in as well. And then the next thing would be, like Jacoby hasn't really been involved like that so far. So, and I'm not really worried about him personally. I feel like he stays ready. He's a gamer. He out there talking hella shit. Got smacked in the face this game. Like, so no, I think he'll be ready. I think he's somebody that can win his battles in highly competitive games for sure. And that's what, we'll see with some of the other receivers if they can win those highly competitive battles. We got to find that out with Horton. We got to find that out with Sam Brown, to see if they can do it on a regular basis. We know that X, um, we know he gonna win his battles often. He might not win them all, but he gonna win most of them. So, not really worried about him. Elijah Arroyo and the tight ends, they made some plays and stuff like that. I will say, as far as with the O line, man, I'm happy that I hope that we'll be at full strength and Rivers will be back out there by USF for sure. I don't really think it's a big deal if he plays at Ball State or not, but um hopefully he back out there. As far as Cam though, man, I thought Cam made a lot of good plays. Um, I would like to see us actually attempt to stretch the field for real. I believe Cam has the most completions in college football, beyond 20 yards. But the way they was talking, like how we was going up top heavy in camp and stuff like that, I haven't seen that yet. Right? I haven't seen us really slinging it downfield and really like really doing what we need to do in that regard. So that's somewhere where I would say I want to see the passing game improve in that sense of can we really hit deep shots, real deep shots. And do we have anybody, are they gonna put us in position to see if we got somebody that can take a slant and crib it or take a screen and go to the house? Like, we need to know. I know what they probably have seen in practice, but that shit is irrelevant until till you get it done or get it going in the game. So, we really need to see like what we working with for real in that regards. Um, as far as the defense, man, a lot of the young guys got some snaps. A lot of the young linebackers. Saquon Patterson also played. Obviously, Frederic is playing. He started Florida game, got a lot of snaps. Blunt played. Cole played. Justin Scott. He recorded his first sack, if I'm not mistaken. Um, yeah, Tyler Barron, obviously. I mean, he had like 3 sacks, uh, 4 tackles for loss, something. I mean, he just went crazy. Them boys couldn't block him, but UF couldn't block him either, though. So I expect the same kind of stuff, Ball State. So I expect him to get, probably 2 sacks, multiple, tackles for loss. He is constantly putting pressure and just tossing them linemen around. Like, but he know it's at stake. Um, he noticed his last shot, man, and he looks like somebody that is doing everything he fucking can to get, his draft stock as high as it needs to be. So shout out to him. Mesidor was out there working real hard, man. I seen this on one of the sacks that Tyler Barron got. Mesidor almost made it to the quarterback, and Barron got him instead. And I saw the frustration with Mesidor when he didn't get him. And then when he realized, that Barron got him or whatever, he's like, all right. So he celebrated with him. It's all good. So a lot of competitiveness going on, man. I do think he'll continue to make more plays as the season goes on. With him inside, you'll see less plays made stat wise, but like the boy is a monster in there, man. Like, seriously. But just overall, man, I think things went smooth. They went smooth enough. We ran the ball more in the second half. We didn't take advantage of all the opportunities we needed to. So I get why folks was frustrated in that regard. But um we handled business, man. We got out of there with no major injuries. Won 56-9. Could we have scored 70 or so? Sure. But it is what it is. Not really worried about it. So that's pretty much all I guess I really have to say about the game. I mean, I did think that we were going to rush for more yards overall. I said we should have gotten at least 300 just because I think Norfolk State had like what, like 220 on them boys. So we ran for 225 as well. I definitely think we should have had more running yards in general, but I don't really think it's that big of a deal. Obviously, Cam Ward went for another 300. He's doing, what he does. Hopefully, he continues to stay smart, protect the ball, protect himself. Um, and I think we'll be fine. As far as anything that y'all saw that y'all want to discuss or whatever, I mean, feel free, to talk about it in the comments. Like I said, I didn't super go in depth with this video in general, just because I don't think it's necessary. But just to give an update. So as far as the film reviews in general, I will resume actual film reviews the week of Virginia Tech. So after the USF game, right? So I'll do film review for the USF review. Um, that's when I'll introduce it back. So I didn't do it this time, and I won't do it for Ball State either. And we'll just do it like that. I got a couple of different things that I'm trying to make some adjustments or whatever to make sure it's clean how it used to be in the past. With the last video I uploaded, for some reason, the breakdown for the film was like it was super choppy, and I didn't want to take it down after I had put it up. So I just want to make sure that it's clean and the presentation is a little better so we can get into different talking points and stuff like that. So um yeah, man, that's all I got for y'all. And I'll be doing the Ball State preview video here shortly. I'm out.